at least we'll try it out. So I go just keep going, figure out how to. I think the best way to do this next time, also because this part, I would have loved to have filmed that and then uploaded it for Sam to watch as we discussed this, right?
Do you want to go back over anything?
I think let's summarize it at the end, and then we'll do a condensed of exactly, and then I'm gonna upload it to YouTube in a private, and then I'm gonna send it to Sam and be like, yo, this was right. That's that makes sense to me, because this I'd hate for any of this to lose the context and the importance.
Do you think he'll be able to follow what I'm saying? I mean, you're gonna translate.
At least, right? At least he's gonna be able to go back, and we're talking about this thing. If he has any points that he needs to rediscuss, then we'll be able to talk about that, but it's all there.
Okay.
Right? Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
Let me look at what the name of this tool is. It says here.
How'd you do this?
I forget what it is. I'll send him a link again.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
So you want to give it a rip?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam, Google looks at page speed in a variety of ways, but we don't really know what it's valuing more than something else. So one theory is that what it values has a lot to do with the loading of the first byte. So this little printout is from a tool where I'll send you a link that gives you this information, but also what this tool is counting as the first byte. And what you can do is work with adjusting the elements that are in the first byte of data to speed this up and get a better letter grade here. So you could literally change one or two, rerun the tool, see if you didn't move the dial on this thing. The object, of course, would be that all of this is, as high a letter score as it could be. It's a little frustrating that we have to jump through these hoops to appeal to Google, but that's just the way it is. The other thing that is...
So this would be the order of how things are loading on the page and what the first bit of data is getting downloaded, how fast the first bit of data is getting downloaded.
Right, and as you'll see in this waterfall that comes with the tool when I send you the link, it'll give you the elements of what it thinks makes up that first byte.
So we can rearrange the order, or take some things out?
You could take some things out, you could rearrange it, you could experiment and keep running this until this comes up. Right? The other one is that it gives a not great score to is caching static content. And from memory, I believe it also breaks out the elements of that for you.
Oh, okay.
So
that's awesome. So they have a list of things that we can fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, or at least a clue as to where to look. And that, as you know, some things, instead of making a call someplace to get that content, you could keep it in cache and serve it up really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think because we do talk about cache a lot. I know it's an issue. I'm not sure we have the best practices for how to utilize the cache. Right. So that might be something that I definitely think we need to learn and get stronger at.
Now, in any of these things, as I'm sure you're aware, you could take something like, cache static content, and just do a search for it, and you'll get a Google Webmaster Tools result probably. And you'll get some other results that'll give you ideas as to what folks do, right? So, it starts with this little 3-word description, and it gives you then some detail in a waterfall. And then beyond that, there's, you could also do just a little investigation into how this stuff best gets handled, right? George was asking about, the Google page speed test, and, that's Google's own test, and, all these tests are going to say a slightly different thing. But generally better is better, right? So if you bring up this score about the first byte, it won't hurt any of these other scores. It'll just be better, right? What else
So
are we?
check the list and start just trying to get this
Yeah.
higher. That's it.
Right. So I gotta make a note here myself. Maybe I'll make a note on here. So speed test URL to Sam and George. Okay. Okay, so should we talk about the navigation change again
Nav change, sure.
for Sam's benefit?
The one we just went over, or
Yeah.
Okay, yes, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So Sam, our thing is that we changed these URLs for the pages that you changed every month, and those URLs, those relative URLs, need to be changed in the navigation and any place else on the site where they appear. So right now in the navigation, the old URLs, even for the pages we changed, are still sitting there, and essentially we're relying on a forward to cause this to occur, right? So when Google crawls our site, it adds more time to those pages to go through the forward, right? It also is just not a best practice around, keeping everything tight, right? So what you would have to do is, whether it's in the navigation or the on-screen links, like maybe inside of some content, is do a search and replace for the old relative link or absolute link, because that could be in an on-screen bit of text, and the new one, right? Now,
Find and replace old links to new.
Carefully, right? Now here's the carefully part. The last thing we need is broken links on pages, especially in the navigation. So what I would suggest is that you are extremely careful in how you do this, because you're making wholesale changes on these links, right? So maybe start with one, have some examples of where it is, check the examples, make sure it was fixed properly. When you get to the end of it, maybe go through all the navigation and click everything to make sure everything loads. But we can't really have it be that some things change and some things didn't and some things are broken. It has to be right the first time. So I think George will go over all of that with you as well. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else there?
Site speed, mistakes.
Well, do we need to touch on, so Sam, we also talked about some of the changes from last month. Some of the URLs, MJ sent you URLs, titles, descriptions, images, and alt text. And we're finding that some of them were changed, some of them were not changed, some of them are partially changed, and some of these are still old, some half old, half new. So that needs to be cleaned up. I think we already talked about that, but that is right now another open problem. And what is this? Other content, all not forwarding to new URLs. Oh, that's internal linking. We just talked about that. What else did we cover?
I think that might be the gist of it for Sam at this point.
Okay. All right, Sam. Later.